Liberation School. Yeah. Teach the babies. Let's rise. Peace to the seeds, the cream of the crop. I'm here to give you truth so you rise to the top. Our enemies try to fill your mind up with lies, but I'm here to protect you, make sure you survive. Open up your first eye, don't fall for the traps. Say no to drugs and be proud to be black. Black is the essence, the elders gave the lessons. You the future warriors, here to resurrect this.
Here's a gift that I'm willing to share. It's quite rare and it took a little time to prepare. Every letter and every word is truly sincere. African youth, you're the best, others can hardly compare. Love the melanin in your skin unconditionally, despite the misery connected to its history. Technology has our people treating it foolishly. Before slavery, our roots were surrounded by royalty.
Every generation is supposed to get better than the latter, but we separated from our ancestors. Let's bridge the gap, become whole again, live from the soul again, learn to grow again. I remember when I was younger, I sit on my daddy's shoulder, wishing I was older. Now I'm a grown up, but I don't know much. It's time for Sankofa. It's time for Sankofa. We build our own schools for our children's needs. The enemy's schools breeds fools and fiends. By all means we convene to put them on the path of power and high esteem. If you don't know where you come from, why you standing where you standing, where you going, can you answer? We were masters before master. We have gathered together to get it together. From now and forever after, never sever. Our bond will never shatter ever. Boys and girls, the world is yours. You have options. See that the choice is yours. Win or lose, the elders will help you. An individual without a village is just an empty vessel. Raise the babies, frequencies, love, respect, and dignity. Decency can be cool too. School the youth, equip them with the tools to live. Left foot forward, trample over evil. Know what it means to be you. By nature, you're righteous people. Don't be afraid to be you. Fear is in the mind. Reality is you are aligned with the divine. Shine upon the ancestors for guidance. Applying God energy, building manifest through high science. Coming in from the cold, embracing the sun on our own. Now we know what we know. We wanna go home. Let the trees grow, cause you never know. Cause you never know what fruit they may bear. What fruit they may bear. Let the seeds grow, let the trees grow, cause you never know, cause you never know what fruit they may bear. Yeah, what fruit they may bear. Yeah. Let the seeds grow, let the trees grow, cause you never know, cause you never know what fruit they may bear, what fruit they may bear, what fruit they may bear, what fruit they may bear.
Yeah. Sankofa kids. Peace. I said, Asiatico. Peace and Liberation School. We're taking initiative to raise the minds of our babies, because these death camp so-called schools have been miseducating us for far too long. Yeah. We got the God true. Yeah. Marugi Baruti, silent teacher. He really teaches, by the way. I mean, as a profession. And we got the great ambassador, O. It's what we do, man. We live this. Word. Glorious.
Peace, and welcome to the Message to the Black Fam show. I'm your host, Lady Shabazz, and we definitely have a treat for you tonight. But before I get into the program, I just want to have just a couple announcements here. Number one, we all know that our brother King Samir has been taking a long, well-deserved hiatus, I should say. So those of you in the Detroit area, if you need something to do to fill up your Wednesday evenings, you can join us over at 90s Knowledge Cafe in Highland Park. It's 12511 Woodward, Wednesdays from 6 to 8. They're doing a lecture series called Afro Perspectives. Last week, we went over the African origin of superheroes. This week will be Black History Before Slavery, A Minute to Learn, A Lifetime to Master. And it's definitely good information to know. It's not going to be a war on the horizon type lecture where we're going to be killing crackers and stuff like that, though we may want to. But it's definitely a good time. You can go there and get your food. They have fish and French fries last week. They had veggie burgers. They had some kind of jerk vegan meat. I don't know if it was Seton or what, but it looked really, really good. So you can come over, enjoy yourself, have a nice meal, hear a nice lecture. The lecture is free. Donations are accepted. They have all the books that you need there. You can get Iwa by Baba Baruti. You can get your Chancellor Williams, whatever, and just spend your money with black people, but free lecture. Can't beat that. So that's Wednesday night, 6 to 8 at Nandy's Knowledge Cafe over in Highland Park. Today we have a really, really information-packed show because the brother on here that we're having today, Brother Omawali, is very, very thorough. And this is the first time, I think, well, maybe not the first time. I think maybe Brother True had some of his comrades help too. But Brother Omawali actually asked his comrades for their input into the show. The topic is instilling manhood in our boys. And they gave just a wealth of information, so much I know we cannot possibly even begin to get into it on the program. So I did list all of that over on my blog, messagetotheblackfam.com. So you can actually, if you want to run over and look at that while you're listening to the program or when the program's over, it's message, the number 2, theblackfam.com. And it should be the very first post there. You're going to see book recommendations, quotes, videos, links, just all kinds of stuff. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. These brothers are thorough. So I would like to thank everybody that helped compile that list. I know that it's definitely going to be a helpful resource for people. And I'm really glad to be doing this show today. You know, I had my big brother Bomani on first, and then I had on Brother True, and I wanted to get Brother Omawale on because I wanted the whole United Front to be well represented on the show. But he kind of avoided my radar for a while because he's like the quiet one of the bunch. So I didn't know what topic would be good, what he was interested in. He was kind of mysterious. So after True was on last time, I think about a month ago, I called Brother Omawali and I was like, okay, we're just going to have to figure this out. And I was really surprised because I know that he is, he said he was very quiet. And I'm one that does not like to talk on the phone at all. The only time I pick up a phone is to call in the war on the horizon. I get cussed out all the time because I don't call anybody just the way it is. But I called him, and it seemed like every time I called that brother, we end up being on the phone for like an hour, 2 hours, and it's just hilarious to me because he's supposedly quiet, and I hate talking on the phone, but in reality, he's not quiet at all, and I actually enjoyed the conversation. So I've heard some of what he's going to say today, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. I know that you're going to like it. It's going to be a very, very powerful show. He's definitely good people. I think that I don't know if he's aware of this yet, but I actually went to court and adopted him. I traded in one of my brothers, one of my blood brothers for him. So he's actually my adopted brother now. So I'm not going to do a very, very long intro because I know that whatever he has to say today is going to be far more important than me sitting here babbling. So I'm going to go on and bring my brother on. This is Omawale from United Front. How you doing, brother?
Peace, sis. What's going on?
Peace. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I'm blacktastically excellent. That was a great intro. I'm actually over here laughing because you're right. I was very talkative, but you know when you talking to good people, you just kind of you let go of all inhibitions and you just kind of go with the flow.
Same thing here. I was like, oh man, I don't call nobody. I don't want to call. And then I called and I was like, oh, I'm actually enjoying this. I'm learning. I didn't even realize I got off the phone like, whoa, was it 2 hours?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes, sir. Well, I think that this is definitely an important topic, and it's something I've been wanting to talk about because I've noticed that we're raising these boys and they're not acting like little boys should. And even grown men, I've noticed a lot of times can be very feminine. I've noticed sometimes I'll be talking to a brother and I'll be cool and he's the one to get emotional. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, unfortunately so. it's epidemic proportions, dealing with But honestly, along with brothers being a bit feminine, I also notice a lot of brothers are being hyper masculine. Also, to the point of like, you want to be a man, but your idea of being a man is like Mr. T on steroids. Like, and that's not cool either.
Right.
Like those extremes are not cool. Dudes with the weak wrist and the switching and all that, and skinny jeans and all that stuff, and the dudes that think they gotta yell or gotta have a mean mug on all the time to be a man, we don't need none of that. So I'm hoping that the information that I'm gonna present today, it's very practical. It's nothing mind blowing or anything like that, but if we want results, we have to have concentrated efforts at doing things. So that's more or less what I'm basically want to present to the black family, not just to the sisters, but for brothers also, and just for families in general. Parenting is it's not just about the people or the person that gave birth to the child, but it's about the village. It's about what we all do to enrich a child, and to make a child become a productive adult. So I'm hoping that the information I present will contribute, to that. Before I go any further, I have to do this before I get into anything. I just have to shout out my wonderful niece. Today is her born day. Nzenga Mayasa, I love you. I just want to tell you happy birthday. I didn't get a chance to speak to you today, but I just wanted to, tell her happy born day. My son's born day is actually 2 days from now. Milka Mayasa. So I just wanted to get that out the way before I get into it.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday to both of the children. Glad to hear that.
Yes.
Definitely. And one thing before you get started, I just want to make a point over all this. Like, I know that you're a good person. I already done told you I adopted you without your permission, but I'm just I'm just wondering why these phone lines are like lit up at 7:12, and when I'm on here they don't light up until like 8:30. So I'm just wondering why you getting all the love and whatever. I'm not gonna hate, I'm just making the point.
What? Man, why'd you say that? Because, now I'm going to have to hear it from, a particular brother in Mayasa, but no, I don't know. I don't know, I just think it's a very, not saying that all the topics are relevant, but I think it's something that brothers and sisters, the thing about parenting, along with it being a village thing, when we're young, we think that parenting is just about, we look at our parents and we think they knew everything and they knew what to do. But when you become an adult and when you become a parent, you realize that all your parents really did was try their best. They didn't have a manual. They didn't have a know-how that came out of this. All they really could do is do better than their parents. Whatever they did wrong, they try to correct. And that's what we can do now, is whatever we think that our parents did wrong, we correct that, and whatever they right, we keep and we implement.
Yes, sir.
So we all could use a little help in the parenting department. I know I still can.
Yes, sir. So where would you recommend that we start? Because I just see us heading towards somewhere that's very, very destructive. What would you recommend as just a starting point, the basics?
Well, when I was first told about the show, I know that in particular with sisters raising sons, and this is across the board, but what I basically say is that in order to even begin with proper parenting, the first thing that you have to do is be a proper parent. You have to look at yourself. You have to look within yourself, and you have to evaluate, those healthy and unhealthy things that that you will pass on to your child, whether you know it or not. You know, children are very observant, and they're learning when we don't even know that they're learning. We just think about the things we say to them, but we don't also keep in mind that, you know, they're always looking. They're very receptive, and that children, they learn when you teach them, whether you teach them or you don't teach them. You know, that's very important to remember, that the things you fail to tell your children also affects them. Not just what you tell them, you fail to tell them.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, you start with self. You know, you definitely have to start with self and just, you know, evaluate how you carry yourself, you know, the type of friends you have. You know, if you're a mother who's no longer with the child's father, what type of men you're attracted to, what type of men you deal with, or, you know, things of that nature. You know, and that's what I would say. You know, the type of things you're about. Like, you know, are you in the read? You know, what are your thoughts and feelings on your black self? Like, do you love black self? Are you going through the motions? Like, are you proud of being African? You know, how far does your interest go into that? Like, are you, you know, you're just proud to be black and, you know, that's it, or you actually looking into ways, you know, ways of furthering your knowledge of what it means to be African. You know, because that in itself starts from the womb. So if you already have that in you, you already have a head start, because the child that you're about to birth will be instilled in that indirectly. So, you know, you always got to start with self.
Yes, sir. Now, I know in our communities, a lot of times, and this show really is going to be for both, because single mothers need to hear it, and even, you know, fathers need to hear it, because some fathers didn't have a father in their life, and so they're not sure maybe what all needs to be instilled in their sons because they were missing that. So it's really for both. But as far as single mothers, how do you think that single mothers can be successful raising sons on their own?
I don't think I know. I know too many brothers that have been raised by single mothers to say otherwise. You know, I hear a lot of brothers that give the disparaging comment that, you know, a woman can't raise a man. And I think that at least altered. It needs to be edited. I think that a woman can teach. She could teach him how to be a man. She just can't show him, because she's not. She has to give up some femininity to do that, you know, but she can teach him. There's, you know, I think there's a difference between showing and teaching. Some people might not feel that way, but, you know, if she has a frame of reference to go by, she knows what a man is. If she has examples around, like her father, her grandfather, brother, cousins, uncles, friends, you know, she definitely can. If she doesn't know, then, you know, that's just the blind leading the blind. But I definitely think sister can. You know, myself, I grew up with both parents, but I come from a Caribbean background, and you know, anybody who's grown up in a Caribbean household can tell you that you know, a lot of times the father's input is based on providing and stepping in as a disciplinarian. Most of the things you learn will come from your mother. You know, so even though parents in a household, that was more or less, you know, what the extent of that was. Most of the things I learned were from my mother. You know, so I definitely think that it's possible. It's more. Black women have been doing it for centuries. When them crackers was you know, separating us on plantations during chattel slavery and things of that nature, they had to do it. When the fathers ran away, or when the fathers were taken away, they did it.
Yes, sir. So I think something's missing today that, you know, for a long time, like you said, a lot of black women were raising children on their own, and we're not doing such a good job with that anymore. And even in two-parent households, we're not really doing a good job with it anymore. What are some of the things that you think that we're missing? What are we not teaching them, or what should we be teaching them? Brother Omawale? All right. I think he may have dropped the line. He should be calling right back in. Oh, there he is. Peace, brother.
My apologies. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, just got cut off in the middle of that. I don't know what's the last thing you guys heard.
We heard, I think, to the end of your sentence, and don't worry about it. Skype has been giving us some issues this last week, probably because we've had some pretty good programs on. So you know that we're in rare form, but it's all right. I was asking you because I know you said we've been doing it for centuries, and you're right, we have. But something's going on now where we're not doing as good of a job raising our children, even in two-parent households. Something's wrong. Something's missing. What do you think that we need to be teaching our children that maybe we're not?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think what's missing is that as a people, most of us are in survival mode, and what's going on is that televisions, radios, and other forms of media are raising our children. Most children got cell phones as young as 10 years old. They have cell phones. They could do anything we could do. Go on Facebook and every other type of site and everything. So there's this world out here that they're exploring without our guidance, without our screening. I think a lot of things are infiltrating. There's a lot of elements that are coming into their life too early. That's what we're here for. To kind of give them that measuring stick to say, okay, well, this is how old you are. You need to start getting into this or getting into that. Without that border and boundary, these children are learning things sooner, about things sooner, and that could be advantageous when it's positive, but when it's negative, I mean, it's just disaster. We have radio programming, which it actually is programming. Like they play the same songs every hour, on the hour, and the themes of this music is straight up degenerate. And most people, there's a certain amount of arrogance you want to have about yourself to say that, well, you're mentally strong enough to withstand any type of barrage that'll come to you. But I don't care how mentally strong you are. If you're listening to the same thing every hour on the hour, it's bound to affect you. I've actually memorized songs that I don't even like. So you could imagine what's going on with a child that's watching the same videos about degenerate themes and listening to the radio and watching certain television programming and just getting a few hours of input a day from their parents.
That's true. And a lot of children aren't even getting a couple hours of input from their parents. Sometimes it's only a couple minutes in passing.
Yes.
And we can't really expect our children to be like this strong-minded person because, I mean, we're still molding their minds. Their minds aren't made to be strong yet. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
That's right.
So I definitely feel you there. And I know even as far as the music goes, I was doing a program, I think, a couple Sundays ago, and I played a clean version, an edited version of the song, and this is like from the 90s, nothing I would even think about listening to now, but I still had the uncut version in my head, and when she was doing the clean version, I'm like, okay, that ain't what you said. So you're right, I memorized something from when I was a child, and I still remember it. So that's definitely something that we need to think about, especially with all the innuendos and things in there nowadays. What do you think about, I know when I was growing up, we had to be responsible. We had like chores and different things that we had to do. Do you see that as being missing a little bit today?
Yes. What I notice a lot that I know is that there's this thing about having daughters doing things and sons kind of get like a free pass. It might just be, hey, daughter, how to cook and do a whole lot more.
Brother Omawale.
Yes.
Skype is acting up. It's being real crazy right now. Is there any way that you can maybe call in on a landline? Because it's messing up your voice right now and it's really staticky.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that right now.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. So I don't know if anybody tuned into Brother Genie's show last night about the lynching in Delaware, but they were really, really messing with the connection back then or yesterday, and I don't think it's going to stop. We had a little interference during the Baruti show, but yesterday was just ridiculous. So obviously there's some messages on here that they don't want you to hear. They're trying to make it difficult, but it's okay. We're going to get through. Little Skype issues here and there, but we'll make it through. This is definitely an important subject. I remember one time my husband came home and he was looking really disturbed, and I was like, what's wrong? He'd been selling some papers or something. I forget. It's been a few years. And he told me he had met a brother, and I was like, okay, so what's wrong with that? And he said, well, I asked him what his name was, and he said his name was Delicious. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I told the brother, look, I ain't calling no man Delicious, brother. What's your name? And he wouldn't, give him like a real name. It's all this feminization, this crazy stuff that we're seeing more and more of. And we have to get a handle on it because it's really out of control. Let's see here. All right, brother, you back with us?
Yes, I'm back.
It's still breaking up a little bit. Let me try to call back in. Can you hold just one moment?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, they're coming at us from all fronts, but it's all good. One moment, and I will call back.
This service is provided. Access code accepted. This conference is being recorded.
All right, let's try this again. See if we got the cracker in the trunk. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're coming through good too. So I think we got it at least for now. We're going to have Brother Bomani sit on the trunk for a minute so he don't get back out.
All right.
All right. All right, so I'm sorry. We were talking, I think, about responsibilities.
Yes. Yes, I was saying that a lot of times, what I notice or see sisters do is that they tend to put the weight of the chores on the daughters. They prepare their daughters more for life, I guess you could say, than the young brothers. The brothers tend, they just kind of tell them, throw out the garbage if they do anything at all. Whereas, young sisters have to learn to cook and, learn the more essential skills. And I think that one of the things that sisters need to start doing is to actually, when you got your daughter in that kitchen learning to cook too, you need to have your son in there. I don't know how some brothers feel about that, but you have to look at it like, we have something of epidemic proportions where a lot of brothers out here don't really know how to fend for themselves. Eating out all the time, looking crazy, don't even know how to boil a pot of rice. Where I'm from, men cook, real men cook, and you can't tell nobody otherwise, so I think that a lot of the essential skills that sisters are teaching young brothers, they also need to be teaching their sons. I mean, part of being a man is being able to take care of some essential things around the home. You got to call the plumber to just take a clock out of the toilet or something like that. Obviously, maybe if you don't know that, there are ways around it. Like I said, if there's brothers and cousins and fathers and grandfathers, get your son to that person that'll be able to teach them these skills. Even Home Depot has a lot of workshops where they teach little basic building techniques. You know, a local Home Depot is free. You could just bring your child over there and take advantage of that free stuff too.
That's true. They even have a mailing list to call that will send you emails and let you know what their workshops are going to be.
Yep.
So I definitely agree with
Most
that.
definitely.
And one thing too, I like that you said about the cooking and being able to take care of yourself because, well, number one, I've always felt like a man should be able to take care of himself independently. And as they get older, a lot of times women play little games like, they'll, if you rely on them to cook for you and do little things for you, they'll have, they'll be able to hold that over your head. So when you're raising little boys, we're getting them prepared to be men. And that's one thing we got to think about. You should never have somebody just having to stay with somebody because he won't be able to feed himself. If not, that's something that's not kosher to me at all. So I think that's a really good point because they should be able to stand on their own. I mean, we always want to be interdependent and have our complement, but at the same time, if that ain't working, you shouldn't be held hostage either.
Absolutely.
Now, another thing that I've noticed, and a lot of this has to do with the homosexual agenda, is this whole bullying phenomenon and zero tolerance for violence. And it seems like a lot of times, now you can't even hit back if somebody hits you. You can't even defend yourself. So they're really trying to strip that part of manhood and aggression out of little boys. What do you think about the whole self-defense thing?
I think that self-defense is definitely important. It's imperative. I mean, I don't remember. My son was like maybe 5-6 years old, and that's one of the first things we did when we felt he was old enough. We had him taking some jujitsu classes. It's crazy because most people generally when you look at fighting, it's like your lead foot is crazy. You might lead with your right and be right-handed and stuff like that. So I always said to myself that I wish he was here. He should be here in a few minutes. But my son, no matter what type of thing I'm telling him, like if he's in trouble and I'm disciplining him or something like that, I always say to him, one day you'll be a man. I either start or end with that term. One day with that sentence, one day you'll be a man. And that's essential. I mean, I probably don't even have to say too much about that, but it's essential, whether it's weapons or with your bare hands. I think the smaller they are, you could just, show them basic techniques to just defend themselves. But as they get older, to show them, things to be more on the offensive. But it's super important for the children to know how to defend themselves. And one thing I know that is that, with the martial arts and things like that, it also instills discipline. It helps with the process of discipline.
Right.
Some people worry about their children being bullies because they'll learn how to, use their hands and stuff like that. But what happens is, these children learn how to be disciplined and be responsible for their peers also. So I think it's a great thing. That's essential in building a man. I mean, part of what I wanted to do when I came on the show was to provide what's called almost like a toolbox. And all these things that you're giving your son to become a man, you kind of put it in the toolbox. That's essential for the toolbox. Self-defense.
Yes, sir. And I think
that helps in the. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
And that also helps, like discipline, self-confidence. You don't just want to have a male walking around. You want to have a young man, one who's gonna, want to be a leader. Or one who gives great contributions to whatever he's a part of.
Yes, sir. I think that's one thing that can be difficult for some mothers, because our instinct is to nurture a child. So if we don't have a man around, sometimes, we're afraid to let them go out and fight and handle their business. And, we want to keep them up under us all the time and make everything right in the world. And that's really not realistic. They have to learn how to go out and be a man and be able to defend themselves, or else they're not going to grow into a very strong man at all. And I think also, one thing that I see that we fail to do is self-defense mentally, because you have to mentally prepare them for what they're going to face in this world, be it racism, be it, police brutality, all kinds of things. And I think a lot of time, I think that that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of our parents have made, and some of us today are still making, is not telling our children who their enemy is, and really showing them examples of how to navigate out in the world once they, get to that age.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things, like I said earlier, it's not just about what you tell your children, it's what you don't tell them. And I don't know if we just totally overlook it sometimes, or if we don't realize that by not saying certain things, we already put our children at a disadvantage. They have to know that racism, white supremacy exists. We have to find a way to find a balance between telling them what's out there, but also instilling in them confidence and hopefulness to actually take us out of this. And I think maybe sometimes we just don't really know how to.
Right.
Because, sometimes it gets a little daunting, it's a little depressing, like, oh, man, we got all this stuff riding against us, why do we think? And that would be the parents' attitude, but we have to find a way to instill it in ourselves and to pass it on to our children, because the work that we're doing now is setting the platform for the work that they will be doing later. And, we can't just sit back and be like, well, when my son get older, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. We have to set the stage for that.
Yes, sir. Now, I've seen a picture of your son, and he's just a handsome little man, big and all that. What are you, or I guess, can you share with us how you are preparing him to go out and deal with the realities of the world without necessarily scaring him? Because sometimes, depending on your son's probably at a better age where he can digest it, but sometimes when they're a little bit younger, they might you might put fear into them, which we don't want them to grow up afraid. But how do you kind of balance that, telling them, what's going on in this Babylon we're living in, but still letting them develop emotionally?
What I try to do is to have a healthy balance of fun and learning. So, there'll be times where we just totally bug out, and it has nothing to do with racism, white supremacy. One of the things I like to do, he's about to be 12 years old, so now that he's older, one of the things I'd like to do is, I told him that maybe once a month we'll start traveling state to state to see how things are in every state. Kind of like, in our minds, the world is a very huge place, but it's only... The world is 80% water, 20% land. So it's small when you think about it in that way. So what I'd like to do is to actually, in his mind, make the world smaller. But along with that, I let him know the realities of what we're living in. But by showing him the world not just in books, but also in traveling and meeting people and things like that, what I'm also trying to instill in him is the possibilities. Like, if we could change the way things are, the possibility of what can be.
Right.
You can't do that. You can't do that with a person with a limited scope. When you look at the greats like Dr. Amos Wilson and Marcus Garvey and people of that caliber, they have a world scope. And part of that has to do with traveling and things like that. So like I said, along with giving them certain key things to focus on, you got to have fun. You can't take that out of it. Children have to, they have to grow and be children, but at the same time know that they have to be responsible. Just a healthy balance.
I think that that's a really good idea because I notice I love to travel. That's always been one of my favorite things to do. But a lot of people don't leave their neighborhood. They're born there, they die there. They don't really, travel outside of that, so they don't see how other people live, other people's reality. It's amazing how much when you're on the road, most of the country is just farmland. I mean, we live in the city and just think the whole country is like a big city, but most of it is just pastures and farmlands and mountains, and it really does a lot to kind of expand their minds a little bit, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, one thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Somebody just wants to say hi to the family out there. One second.
Hello.
Peace, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Happy birthday early.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's Amo called Mayasa. That's my son right there.
Yes, sir. I know you're a proud papa.
Yes, ma'am. Very much so.
Now, one thing that was interesting that we discussed was the subject of discipline. Because I'd say I was always like, look, you step out of line, you're getting popped,
Right.
And I've been changing my mind on that because I see the parallels with that and with slavery, and also that in a lot of societies in Africa, that's not used. They don't have to do that. They're a lot more civilized, and they can have open communications. And one thing I think that kind of changed my mind a little bit on that is that I had a friend, and she was stressed out a lot. She had a lot of responsibilities. But anytime the children made her angry, anything went wrong or anything like that, her first reaction was to punch them in the chest. I mean, and they weren't even like teenagers. They were like 8. And I'm like, you can't just punch a child in the chest. That's insane. So that's one of the things I looked at like, whoa, are we disciplining or are we just taking out frustrations? And so that kind of made me pause a little bit on that, except for still some circumstances where it would warrant it, but really ease up a little bit on that, in my opinion. What do you think about that? And I mean, how did you come to that conclusion?
I'm at a point where I don't put my hands on my son. I haven't in 4 or 5 years. But he remember his last beating. I'll tell you that. I mean, that's how I grew up.
Right.
You do something bad, you go in the backyard, you pick your switch, he beat you with it, belt, hanger, with hey.
Hot
whatever.
Wheels racetrack.
all of that, and I can honestly look back on it and say that, I never looked at it as no type of brutality or anything like that. But in my observation, what I would notice is that when I would hit my son, when he was doing certain things, he might stop for a little while, but he goes and does it again. I mean, he's a child. But what I noticed is that when I would just be firm, just flat out be firm, and then there's a system of rewards. I used to, hey, it's the end of the school year. You got your report card. You got good grades. Hey, I'm gonna give you something. I mean, that's good, but truth of the matter is, I tell him all the time. He'll agree. You're a child. Your only job is to have fun, and whether it's going to school or whatever you do with children, do at this point. That's all I ask of you. So you're supposed to get good grades. It's when you go above and beyond, or when you do things, that shows initiative, when you get rewarded. And also, when he does what he's not supposed to do, and then he goes, hey, Dad, can I do this? Can I have that? No. Do you know why? I don't just say no because this and that. That's what crackers do. Crackers is friends with their children. They, Molly, you can't have that because I don't do that. I ask them, hey, do you know why you're not getting this? Because he needs to know why. I think that's way more effective than me putting my hands on him.
Yes.
Like I said, I haven't had to put my hands on him in like 5 years. 6 years.
Yes, sir. And so it's working out pretty good. You see a difference in the way he reacts. It's more positive now.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Do you think that we're being too affectionate with our children or not affectionate enough?
A little of both. A little of both. That's funny because I was actually about to say that. I think that, depending on the parent, we're having issues where it's either or. Like, some women are not showing their sons enough affection because they want them to be men. And in my personal opinion, one doesn't have to do with the other. You can show a young man affection without, feminizing him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think how that's being done is always with a balance. I look at things holistically. So if you're not giving him ways to express that growing masculinity, that's a problem. But also, I've listened to hip hop enough. The hard. I grew up in the '90s, so most of the stuff I listened to was straight up hardcore hip hop. And then when these guys get interviewed, the dudes with the problems like DMX and them, what's one of the first things they say?
Hey, mama.
My moms didn't love me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like you can't take that away. Like, some women are scared to show their sons affection, and then I think that the sisters that are, like I said, I don't have no issue with showing your sons affection. I just think that it needs to be some sort of, it has to be appropriate. Like, it can't be like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. You're disciplining and reprimanding your child, but then he starts crying. So it's like, oh, come here, and nah, you can't do that. As a matter of fact, I was building with Brother Irritated Genie, and he put it the best way. He's like, the biggest time when a mother has to let her son be a male is when there's something difficult that he has to do, and he's like, oh, I don't want to do it or whatever. Make him do it. I can't even say it no better than that. When a really difficult task is at hand and he's struggling with it, let him do it. Because even if he fails at it, he gives an attempt, and that builds character. One second, Mom. My son wants to add on to that comment also. 1 second.
Yes, sir.
As my dad was saying, like, you can't, when you're saying about the affection and everything, see, my main component about all the people these days, about, laziness and all that stuff, I think it has to do with everything that goes on in a child's life. Because when I was on yesterday, I went out with my mom. Then all of a sudden, I see a bunch of white people going over, sitting at the other table, and then it's the little kid's birthday, and then the dad, all he's doing is trying to pick out food and everything. I mean, he's not even doing anything. His dad, his son's being annoying, rude, everything. Every single person at the other table, looking at that specific table, and all that, and it's just weird. But the thing that put me off the most, that I don't think that everyone paid attention to, except for the dad, when his sister had to go to the bathroom, the mom asked the little boy, "Do you want to go to the bathroom with her?" And he actually said yes. I think that's teaching him. I think that's teaching the kids these days, if they're actually doing that these days, to be more affectionate and actually pay more attention to the girl. If you're doing if you're going to where they go daily. I don't think, because sometimes I think that they're just they're trying to make a bond with the sister, but I think that's a load of crap. Because how are you gonna that's not a way to make a bond just by going places. That's teaching him that, oh, it's okay to go. It's okay to go to Victoria's Secret and go fanny shop and put it on, and then go in the girls' bathroom and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You got an example of how that young man mind works.
I was gonna ask, how old is he again? He about to be 19, 20?
Don't worry. People ask me all the time, like, yo, he's only 11. Yeah, he's on it. He's on point.
Tell him watch his back. He might end up being a guest on one of my shows. Yes, sir. Good example. We do that a lot, I think, and we don't think about, the impact that it's having on our sons. Definitely, it's good to hear from a young man that he sees that as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I've, I try my best, but I actually have to thank my Mayasa brothers and the brother Irritated Genie for contributing to that, because Irritated Genie has a very good series of DVDs on feminization and also the fight in the poltergeist course. My son took that course, and he is super on point. Like, it's to the point where his mother called me one day and was like, you need to talk to your son. I know we both in families where, certain behavior isn't accepted, but she feels like he goes too hard. Like, they be watching TV and he be like, "Oh, Mom, turn that off now. I don't want to see that gay stuff." You know what I mean? Like, he's on it like that.
Right. Well, that's good. That means his mind is open. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, do you mind? I usually take calls around the 8 o'clock hour, but it looks like people keep on calling in. Like I said, only for you. I never get this kind of response, so whatever. But do you mind if we take a couple of calls?
Absolutely. I don't mind at all.
Okay. Let's see. All right, 4517, you're live.
I'm just listening.
Okay, yes, sir. All right, 5469, you're live. Five, 469.
Well, yeah, I'm just listening.
Okay. Thank you for listening in.
Yo, 5469 never speaks. That's crazy. Shout out 5469.
That's right. Getting the knowledge though. Getting the knowledge. 8257. You're live.
Hotep, fam.
Hotep.
All right, wonderful show. I'm enjoying it right here, just chilling with my black fam right here. We holding it down. Basically going over the things that you guys are covering today. Just want y'all to keep pumping the information, letting you know that we're doing the same thing over here, so that once we do inherit this earth that is definitely ours, we'll have seeds that can intermingle and have mates, rather than these sick, degenerate people that's out here that's raising kids that don't have any kind of conscience.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You have anything else for us today?
Y'all got anything to say? That's everything, and like I say, just keep on moving with it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And he brought up a point, and that's something that I remember. I think on our last conversation you had talked about was building the type of a man that you might want.
Yes. Building the man. Yes, absolutely. That's so important. I mean, what we know about parenting, or sometimes, like we do a lot of things blindly. We give our children these essentials or these things that we feel that they need. But what we also have to look at is, like, what is the outcome of what we're giving them? We have to have a little bit of foresight as in the type of children that we're making, quote unquote. Like, I look at it like, I don't remember the name of the speech. I believe the brother Tashango gave me the video, but there's a video where Dr. John Henrik Clark basically talks about what we need as a nation, what type of people we need to build a nation. And, us having to sacrifice a generation to basically tell them what they need to do. Hey, maybe not everybody will want to do that, but if you don't want to tell your child what to do or what to become, you engineer it as to that's where their interest lies. You don't have to outright be like, you're going to be a doctor one day, but the things you put in front of them, the type of things that, you want them to show interest, and you stimulate them with that. You know, like one of the problems is in my household, reading was almost like a punishment. You know, and I don't do that with my son. Like what it is, like I'll get him a book, or I make sure he sees me reading a lot, so that not only with me giving him stuff to read, but he develops an interest in reading himself. You know, one of the things that, you know, along with, like, see me myself, I could show how I'm being a man, be an example to him, but there's so many literary examples, you know, whether it be the autobiography of Malcolm X, Negroes with Guns, philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey, you know, books on Hannibal of Carthage. There's a brother from the Maryland, D.C. area named Dr. Ben Carson. He wrote an autobiography about his mother raising him to be a man. You know, he if I'm not mistaken, he was the first person to separate conjoined twins.
Wow.
You know, and I especially love the story of Hannibal of Carthage, because his father took him at a very young age and took him on his war campaigns, and he eventually became a general. As a matter of fact, my son's name is Amilcar Mayasa. He's named after Hannibal's father. That's how much I love that story.
Mm.
You know, and I really feel that, you know, like, to essentially or to build a man, you know, what sisters need to do is to ask themselves what their relationship is at the time with the black man as a whole, not just their father, their ex, their boyfriend, or whatever, but what is their relationship at this current time with the black man? How do they feel about it? Because your son is going to be a black man one day.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's a very important question that sisters need to ask themselves. Now, once you get past that, you know, you got to ask yourself, like, what type of man do you want your son to be? Is he just going to be a productive member of, quote-unquote, society and continue contributing to racism, white supremacy? Is he going to be a race man? Is he going to be a leader or a follower? You know, is he going to be a methodical? You know, there's so many things that you could inject in a child's upbringing. You know, every experience should be a lesson. You know, it shouldn't be like, oh, there's a crisis. This is, you know, like, oh, let me tell him this because something happened. Every single, even the positives, every experience is a chance to give a lesson to your child. My son will tell you that too. We'll walk into the drugstore and I'll look down the aisle and I'll be like, oh, where's this and that? And he'll be like, huh? I'll be like, well, you know, you're reading even when you're not reading. You have to pay attention at all times. You know, and these are the type of things I do to just keep them sharp. You know, and that's what you got to do. You just got to, like I said, every single moment there's a lesson happening, and you got to pay attention and make sure your children are paying attention.
So you send him on little errands to find things in the store so he can get situated and know where everything is.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
Sir.
Go to this aisle, get this and that. You get a little older, I'm gonna just walk right next to him with the list and let him throw everything in the shopping cart.
Exactly. That's
what. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that's basic things that we don't think about sometimes when we are talking about, you know, raising our children into adulthood, raising our boys into manhood. It's just simple everyday stuff that we don't take the time sometimes to show them. Even getting change back and things like that.
Yeah, my father, because the store was right on the corner, he could actually see me from the window. He used to send me to the store to get a certain amount of items, but give me like a $20 bill and buy like $5 worth of stuff. Where when I get back, he asked me what I bought, what it came up to, and how much change I should have got. Did I get that change? I'm like 7, 8 years old doing stuff like that. Me and my brother, we used to actually have to go do the laundry for the whole house, because, you know, pack the bags in the shopping cart. You know, it used to be embarrassing at first, but as you get older, you know, it's just a responsibility and a duty. It's not, you know, you don't worry about your friends laughing at you because you're walking down the block with a laundry bag. You're going to do something for your family. You know, those are very important, like I said, important and practical lessons. You know, nothing crazy, hanging your son off this fire escape until he starts screaming. Nothing crazy like that. Just practical things.
Yes, sir. All right, we're going to go back to the phone lines, and look, stuff about to get real because I heard some disturbing things last time when True was on the show talking about courtship. I heard that y'all were not treating my brother Bomani correctly. I've heard some disturbing things since then, so I was like, Bomani, I got your back. So I flew up to New York, had a chat with these brothers, said, brothers, it ain't gonna keep going down like this. This ain't how we handle things. This is War on the Horizon family. We don't do this. They assured me that everything was everything. So I just want to check in and hear if y'all have been keeping y'all word here. Peace, brother. How you doing?
Peace, Earth was a science.
Nothing much. Have you been treating my brother right?
Of course, man. You know, I don't know nothing about accusations. Peace, ambassador. Besides, black man, yo, man, you doing a great job, man. I'm learning a lot. You know, I really appreciate the show. I relate to a lot of the things, and yeah, man, keep on keeping on. Yeah, I appreciate that, black man. Word. I just want to say real quick, man, I believe in beating my children. I want to say that for Rick. I heard that question being posed. I haven't had to beat my children in a long time, but I definitely believe in beating children. I just want to say that. No doubt. No, you know what? No, that's good you said that. I mean, look, I'm not totally dismissing it, and you know, my son will tell you, like, I've actually had to tell him, like, yo, don't play. It could happen, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that took a thing for me, you know, and I haven't had to in about 5 years. Yeah, that means you're doing your job, big bro. I just want to add on to the cipher. I came on 20 minutes late. You know, we was celebrating Zinga's born day, but I just want to say too. I know it's primarily about rearing boys, but I think it's important for fathers to spend time with their daughters. I know a lot of times, and I did this, you know, as a young father. I'm still a young father. What I'm talking about. But I did this early, where you know, I would brush my daughter off, you know, because she's a girl, and I just want to be with my son and do the manly thing. But I learned actually with Nzinga actually that you know, fathers need to spend time with their daughters because they're gonna grow up one day to have a husband, and they need to familiarize themselves with how men act, what they do, how they move, because we're different. You know, for example, right now I'm in the office, I got the door closed, you know, I get in my zone, I'm doing work. And I'm not saying women don't do that, but you know how they say, I don't believe in a man cave because we're not Euros, not Europeans, but I have a man pyramid. And that seems to be a universal principle when it comes to men. So my daughter knows that. She hangs around me. I let her in my pyramid sometimes. I tell her what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And just I just think that's very important, because what happens is, even in situations where a daughter has a father in her life, she grows up, gets married, and cannot relate to her husband because the father basically brushed her off while she was young. So I just wanted to add that on to the cipher.
That's very true. I talk about my father a lot on here, and he was not perfect. He did some things people be like, are you kidding me? But he was the best father I think that I could have had, because he did spend that time, like after dinner, we would go on a walk. He'd say, okay, we're going to walk it off now. So we go on a walk, you know, and during those walks we could talk, and he really got to know me. I got to know him. You know, he would take me out and get ice cream, and we would sit there and people watch and talk about people. We both a mess. We had the same personality, so we'd be talking about people looking crazy or whatever. You know, but he was teaching me, you know, make sure that the man that you get with opens the door for you. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, just chivalry and things like that are missing a lot of times. And it got to the point where we're so close. If he's depressed, I can sense it. And I'll actually call him like, okay, Dad, what's wrong? And, you know, sometimes he'll do the same thing with me. Like, I just felt like I needed to call you. So those bonds are very, very important for sons as well as daughters. So that's a good thing that you picked that up, because I know some men who won't hug their daughters, won't spend any time with their daughters at all. They don't feel it's appropriate, but it's very important.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing I wanted to, y'all was talking about showing affection. That was one of the fears that I had, was that I was showing my son too much affection. And I thought I grew up with I didn't grow up in a very functional home, and I wasn't showed really affection, and so I thought that if I show my son affection, that it'll make him soft. And it actually took a woman to tell me, like, no, that'll give them confidence. Children need to feel love, especially in this world that hates them. So, yeah, it's a serious thing.
That's true too. To this day, my father will give my brothers hugs when he sees them. They always hug each other with a greeting, but boy, he would give them some of the worst beatdowns I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. But Wally and Zinga want to say something to you, bro.
Oh, man.
Okay. And Zinga. Okay, I guess she doesn't want to. Hold up. Let me see. She said she wanted to say something. Hold up, out. Oh, there you go. Come on, man. You got to be on point, sis. Hold up, all right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Yeah, speak.
Peace, Wally.
Peace, fire. What's going on?
Nothing. Just want to talk to you.
Oh, man. Yo, happy born day. How you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling good.
All right. Hold on. Here's ammo call. Hold on.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace, Milcar.
Happy born day.
Thanks.
He's over here like he don't know how to speak. How you doing, sis? You had a good day? You went to school today?
Yeah. I went to school.
All right, cool. So we'll see you Saturday, all right?
All right.
Happy birthday.
All right, love you.
Peace.
Peace. Yeah. All right, family. Yo, Black Love, boy. I'm enjoying the show. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Black man. Yes, sir. Appreciate you too, brother. That's Queen Marcy out there. Peace. Indeed, I let her know. Queen, I appreciate the show. I always enjoy them usually I train around this time, so I don't get to catch them. But yeah, send me every show, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, no doubt. BB448.
BB448.
BB48. Cracker in the trunk.
Cracker in the trunk. All right, now. That was all fine and dandy. I love hearing from the kids. They were adorable, but we got to get back down to business because during that call, I got some information that I was being lied to, and I really don't appreciate it. I really thought higher of my brothers that they would not be sitting here on War on the Horizon telling me lies. So let me see what's really going on. Tell the story, brother. Tell the story.
First of all, let me say a BB448 to Lady Shabazz. How you doing, sis?
A BB448. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm not even going to address the other brother on the phone right now. You understand? I just want to point out the fact that, we was all a family love when I was on the show. You understand? Did Brother True or Brother Omawali call in when I was on the show, sis?
Yeah, I don't remember them calling in.
Yeah, I don't remember all the love. You understand what I'm saying? True calling in, putting babies on the phone and all this, but nobody heard my show. You understand what I'm saying? See, the proof is in the pudding, sis. You already see how they treat me. But you see, the one common thing is that, I called in for both their shows and show love. Training in the night, I went in, got my training in, came home to catch the brother's show, But it's all good, though. They treat me bad, sis.
I see that. I think it's real foul because how you going to be on a CD talking about cracker in the trunk and then me and you talking about putting crackers in the trunk and it's silence. I don't understand that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Brother Omawali, what's up, brother?
Yo, peace, big bro. What's going on, fam?
I'm maintaining, brother. Yo, it's a great show. I just want to add on, man. I just want to say that one thing when it comes to raising these babies, man, we gotta understand that we totally lost control and access to our children's minds. I mean, this cracker totally has our babies occupied throughout the day. We let the TV babysit our children. You understand what I'm saying? We sending our babies to these cracker institutions, into their schools, where being a homosexual, is cool. They're getting from the cracker institution that being a homosexual, being a lesbian, or being a faggot is okay and it's acceptable. For us being black nationalists, we got to keep in mind that we're raising our babies to be revolutionaries, and we must build institutions that's going to create a revolutionary culture around our babies and cocoon them and keep them away from all this madness.
Yes,
but,
sir.
Brother, you're doing a great job, and sis, I love the show, and BB for Hodier.
BB for Hodier.
Straight pride, brother.
Straight pride.
Those are our beloved brothers from United Front, Brother True, of course, our guest, Brother Omawali, and Brother Bomani, who, you know, I don't have to take one trip out there to New York. I really am hoping I don't have to take another one out there. They're going to start treating this brother better. That's all I can say.
No doubt.
All right.
We most definitely will.
Somehow I don't believe that. I don't believe it. All right, let's see. 5680, you're live. 5680.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Lady Shabazz. How are you?
Walaikum salam, sis. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just listening. Great show. I'm just showing you my support.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And
no problem. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. And give your little man the greetings for me, too.
Okay, I sure will.
All right. Okay, let's see. All right. Brother Jeff, you're live. Brother Jeff?
I'm sorry.
Crack in the trunk.
I've been having to use the mute
Crack
button.
in the trunk.
Crack in the trunk.
Crack in the trunk.
In the trunk.
Go money, my house and hit it, do it, crack and grind it. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's good? What's good? It's the brother Omawali. What's good, brother Jeff? What's going on with you?
Oh, brother O, my bad, brother O.
Nah, you good, fam? You good? How you, man?
I'm chilling, man. Just had a hard day at work. I'm just relaxing, brother. I ain't never beat my kids.
Really?
You met my kids, bro? You ain't meet my kids at the election?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I met your babies a couple times. I think like on three different occasions.
Alright, that's what's up, bro. Man,
yeah, that's beautiful, man.
What you think about them, bro?
Man, your children are great, man. As a matter of fact, they was at the spot this weekend.
Right.
Yeah, they great. I like the way they interact with each other. They look out for each other, man, and they still, you know, they jab each other up a little bit once in a while. You know what I'm saying? I love that, man. I love seeing children being children, man.
Man, bro, do you know I ain't spanked neither one of them ever in my life?
Man, that's great. I mean,
I just threaten them every day. You hear me, bro?
Yes, sir.
Man, it got to the point my daughter, she did something that deserved it, bro. I think she was messing up in school, matter of fact. Man, bro, I got to close the door so she can't hear me. Man, bro, I went in the room to whip her, brother. And do you know that I physically could not do it? I'm talking about I physically could not bring myself. Man, I felt like a B word. I couldn't even do it, bro. My oldest daughter, she's 12 now. Man, her mother had to do it. That was the first time she ever had got a spanking, man. But I'm listening to y'all talk about the kids. I don't know what the topic is, but I heard you saying about cooking in the kitchen. And I got to tell you, I'm a brother who is totally against a man in the kitchen.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, it just feels feminine to me. I mean, I can cook a little something, but I just refuse to even try to learn how to cook a cuisine, brother. You hear me? Because I couldn't even see myself in the kitchen with the apron, even though that I know there's some strong black African men out here that know how to work their thing in the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the strongest man I knew was my grandfather. And I'm telling you, he was a baker. You hear me? But I might have did it when my mother was small, but I never seen him in the kitchen. It had to be maybe, man, once a year maybe. My grandmother always cooked everything. And so I guess it's that example right there that I just feel like a man is not supposed to be in the kitchen. But my son, little Jeff, he want to be a chef.
All right.
So I'm not going to discourage him or anything about that. I feel like it's cool he want to be a chef, but the only thing is, all the chefs I see is homo. All the men chefs, anyway.
Well, I don't know.
Go ahead, sis.
I'll say this. I don't believe that a man should be in the kitchen like all the time, especially like if he has a woman. I definitely feel like that's my domain and pretty much leave it alone. But I do believe that a man should know how to cook basic stuff, not no gourmet stuff necessarily if he ain't into that, but just basic stuff to be able to do for self and be independent. And not, you shouldn't have to rely on a woman for things. I think that just gives him a little bit of independence that's needed today. Like my husband, he can cook. He don't ever do it, but he can. Like he was supposed to cook today. Why I have to go out and get some food because he was supposed to cook. It ain't happened. He been telling me he gonna give me a night off for the last, I don't know how many weeks. But I know he has demonstrated once or twice that he actually does know how to go in there without burning the kitchen down. So I think that it's a good skill to have. It lends to independence, but not necessarily that they're going to be doing it like all the time. That's definitely my domain. And even if I wanted him to, he has shown me he ain't going to do it.
Right. And then I heard y'all talking about the Irritated Genies entertainment series.
Yeah.
I got to tell y'all, man, me and my family sat down and I watched it 3 or 4 times. But me and my family watched it. And matter of fact, he did a abbreviated lecture on it a couple of years ago. And ever since then, I got to tell you that especially my oldest son, we sit down and we watch all type of cracker movies, just to reverse it and laugh at them and point out all of the inconsistencies and all the homosexuality and it, just all the, like we watching this show now, it's a big hoopla about Breaking Bad.
Right.
With this old cracker who got lung cancer who decided he want to be a meth lord and start cooking up meth. He a chemistry teacher. And I swear this whole series, it ain't nothing but a Zeus and Ganymede series. They done brought back to life Zeus and Ganymede, this old cracker infatuated with this young cracker, teaching him how to cook up meth and sex and aggression. The only time he can come at his wife is after he almost got killed or he done killed somebody. But if you look at that series, you'll see the sex and aggression in it right off the break, bro.
I gotta check that out, man. You're absolutely right, man, and that's what, yeah, man. I'm you know what? When I bought the DVD, fam, it was one of those things, man. It hurt, man. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go support the brother. I went up to the counter. I was like, yo, brother, how much is the joint, man? Dude told me. I was like, I was like, you know what? Let me get it, man. And yeah, I took it home, man. Me and my son watched it, and I didn't regret a dime, man. Not a single penny. For real. As a matter of fact, Liberation School, man. We about to get into that course in like 2 months. You know, we're gonna get into the entertainment course, man, and just really, you know, sharpen the minds of all the children. Because like I said, there's times when we're not around them and they're watching that TV or whatever the case may be, and they gotta be armed, you know, like the sister said earlier, you know, not just being ready physically, but you know, just being mentally strong to kind of, you know, decipher things on their own when we're not around.
Exactly, man. Because I'm raising my kids, you know, I'm trying to make them conscious, and I'm raising them up right, and you know, except for when we had the discussion about the N-word, which I'm cutting down on using in front of them. But other than that, I can see how they are developing their consciousness and they becoming African, and I don't feel like they definitely going to sell out their race.
Yes,
sir. One thing I got to say about my son, because I heard you refer to, let me ask y'all this. Should we let crackers teach our kids constructive things that we feel like they should need in life?
I think ultimately that's we should be doing that. What you mean as far as like certain like basics, like say plumbing or something like that?
Yeah, like certain crafts, skills and crafts that we just don't have. That like say military skills, anything, financial skills, like you saying building with Home Depot.
I think so, bro. I mean, you know, crackers learned that from us, man. Why not?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the thing is that even if they showing us a flawed version of what we taught them, you know, the great thing about the black mind is that, you know, after a while we pick up the pieces and we fill in the holes, man. We just need to get the basics so we can build on them. So right. I think absolutely we should.
So this is how I want to raise my son, because I heard y'all saying that I don't push my kids to be, you know, to do anything except for what their dreams, what they want to do. But I feel like I want to make my son, he's real smart math, right? So I want to make him aware of the financial world. And I want to I want to train him to learn from crackers without loving them, which I'm pretty sure I can do because he hates them anyway. And I want him to develop his I want him to, you know, like these crackers, they raise their kids to go and manipulate the system to get rich. Like with the hedge funds, with everything that's got to do with Wall Street, how they rape them to get rich. And I feel like I think it would take just one strong-minded African to build their wealth to share with this African-centered community. Which means, like, if I raise him and he go out here and connive his way into $200 million, but I raised him to take that money and not coon with it, to take that money and build a nation.
Well, I put it to you like this, brother Jeff. You got a chance to read Black Label White Wealth?
Nah.
Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson?
Nah, I need to get that though. It's system.
Yes, sir.
I know you're listening. Can you send that out to me? Because I know I'm going to forget as soon as I get off the phone.
I got you, bro. As a matter of fact, if I don't get to it, you could just listen to that new United Front CD. Listen to that joint I'm reading. That's two of the books the brother Bomani make references to. Dr. Claude Anderson, I wouldn't say the brother is necessarily race first or anything like that, but he's a black man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he was a part of the Clinton administration and the whole nine. But as a black man, he recognized that we're in economic dire straits. Like we're at a point where we economically nothing has changed for us since the Reconstruction era up until now. We're in the same position financially, economically. So, you know, these books basically outline a way that we could implement, you know, certain things to build our own economy and, you know, have our money circulate as opposed to go out of our immediate surroundings as soon as we make it. So if that brother, just being at his core just a black man, not necessarily identifying himself as an African or a race man, could do that for his race, imagine what your son could do with what you're instilling in him now. You know what I mean? I say go for it, bro.
Right.
You know, I mean, we got too much basketball players and football players and rappers and all that out here, man. Like, you know, we need some more Dr. Collins. We need some more, you know, Dr. Amos Wilsons. We need some more Garveys. We need we need some more Hueys. I could go on and on and on. You know, we need some Nat Turners, man. We need some people that's going to do some real work.
Right, brother. Yeah, I'm definitely that's what I'm gonna push him towards, because he got the mind for it. I don't want him to get, you know, in no trouble or nothing, but these crackers been doing it for years. That's why I want him to learn from them without loving them, if that's possible.
Bro, I know this cat that do security for a small hat synagogue, right? And one day I was coming home with this dude, and he's telling me that one of the little small hats that go there sells him bootleg DVDs. This little boy's like 8, 9 years old, negotiating with him and all that. Why we can't do that with our babies? You know what I mean? I don't necessarily got a bootleg or whatever the case may be, but just, you know, buy and sell. You know, let them calculate the change and save some. This is your overhead. You know, talk that financial talk. You know, we could do it. We most definitely can.
Right.
And I'm just going to add in here, Brother Jeff, now that you're talking about economics, if you want to have your son listen, you and your son listen to our next program in 2 weeks, I'm having a good friend of mine on, Robin Lewis, and that's actually going to be what we're talking about, and it's not going to be a boring economic show either, because I don't like being bored. I'll fall asleep at the switchboard. So we're going to be, seriously, keeping it real. I will be, y'all hear me snoring. We're going to be talking about finances. We're going to be talking about racism and taxation. We're going to be talking about businesses that you can do for self. And this sister is like one of us. You know, she's not like one of these bougie Negro people. She's one of us. She's one of the people that when I talk, she don't look at me like I'm crazy. She might not say nothing, but she's smiling like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a good show, interesting show, and I think that y'all would probably want to listen to that.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what's up. I appreciate the info. Thank y'all once again. Man, it was wonderful seeing y'all perform with, man, my Alpha South Top, bro. That's what's up, man. I've been waiting for that, brother.
Oh man, yo, more to come, family. We gonna try to tighten that aim thing up, man, and just, you know, hit this cracker from every angle, man.
That's what's up, brother. Cracking the trunk to you and sister. Black liberation to everybody else.
Black liberation, fam.
Cracking the trunk.
Hey.
All right. And I always forget to give the call-in number. I had so many callers, you know, who don't love me but love Brother O, that I forgot to even give out the call-out number. Didn't even know I needed to. So the call-in number is 760-569-7676. Again, 760-569-7676. Participation code 948656#. That's 948656#. All right. My sister, you're live.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace
This
and
is
love.
Sister Freya calling in.
Peace, how are you?
Hey, sir.
I'm wonderful. I've just been listening to the show. I tuned in a little bit late, but I started listening when the brother was talking about the practical responsibilities that he was instilling in his children and his son, and I just thought that was really wonderful. And then I was looking at the event here that you had, and I saw some questions that you had on here in terms of can single mothers raise men, and what are the duties of father, and that kind of thing. And I think that that's super important dialogue for us to be having as a black nation. And while I don't think single women can raise the men alone, I think that honestly that's the case with so many households, that we have to understand that it's their responsibility to raise the men if that's what they have as a son. Like, you can't say, well, you can't raise a man. Well, you're raising a man, so you need to learn how to do it. And I think some of the stuff that we've discussed today has been really vitally important for brothers to know, for sisters who have sons. I always tell sisters that we're working with and we're building in that, you know, we cannot raise a generation of weak, punk, just weak, inefficient, underdeveloped males. Like, we have no more time for that. We really need to raise the type of men that we need in our nation to function in the way that we need them to function, in terms of being protectors and providers and leaders and all those things. And free-thinking, inventive, creative people. That's what we need. So what are the things that we need to do to make that happen? I'm not sure if y'all got to this on the call, but a really important aspect that I've seen, and me dealing with my nephew, I don't have any kids, but I deal with young children a lot, considering that I'm a doula in the community and things of that nature. So I work a lot with small children, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I try to work with them as much as their parents will allow. You know, I'm limited, but I do what I can. Is we have to show our boys, our young males, how to earn their way through life. As soon as they come off the breast, they need to be doing something tangible to contribute to the family. They need to, whatever their goal is, whatever their contribution is, it should be consistent, and then they should have the discipline instilled in them that they know, even if it's $5, it doesn't matter. You know, they're 10 years old or something, but they need to know, okay, because you brought home the $5, that's going to go on the light bill, or that's going to go on whatever. So that's something that, you know, that they need to know. They also have to be taught how to share. A lot of times we don't really make our boys do that. So then after a while, they end up being selfish men. You know, they're not sharing with their wife, or they're not sharing with the family. I don't know about y'all, but how many of y'all have brothers that come to Christmas, Thanksgiving, or whatever family stuff that you have, and they come empty-handed and eat the most and take a plate? Am I the only one with family like that?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not the only one with a family like that. The men come, they didn't cook anything, they don't bring any food, they don't even bring a drink or a cup. They eat the most, and they want to take 2 and 3 plates home. But you know why they're like that? Because the women, their mother and their father did not teach them to share. You cannot come to somebody's house empty-handed and extract resources, and you haven't put anything forth. So a lot of times what I see with our young boys is like, sometimes it's hard on them, but like taking a toy from them, you know, taking a toy and giving it to somebody, or, you know, say, okay, well, I'm going to give you $5, but you have to give $2. You have to give $2 to your sister so that she can buy something as well. And if you do that at an early age, it becomes second nature to them, and they start to understand, okay, when I am blessed with resources, I will share these resources with people I love and with people that look like me. Another thing is communication. A lot of times our little boys will break down because they're frustrated, because they don't have the vocabulary and the words to express what's going on with them. So I don't allow the young boys that I deal with, I don't allow them to have tantrums and little stupid stuff like that. Because if you can't have a conversation with me, a black woman that loves you, how am I going to expect to send you out into the world and expect you to wheel and deal with this damn cracker? Well, you can't even have a conversation with me. You don't have the vocabulary that you need to express yourself with me. So we have to stop letting our boys shut down because they're frustrated or irritated or upset about something and storm off and little stupid stuff like that. Just beyond beating their ass, but we can't just beat their ass. We need to say, okay, we have to sit down and reason with our boys so that they can develop their communication skills, so that they can, you know, say what they need to deal with this world and get what they need to, you know, get done. And another thing the brother had asked, he said, can I show my son, can I let these crackers teach my son something, but them not love him? Well, you know, that's something that we really have to look at, because I am a proponent of homeschooling. I believe that homeschooling is the only answer for African children. Besides the African Center School, I do not think that you should send your child to the cracker all day long. And what do you think is going to come back home? What do you think is going to come back home? So we have to take our children's education into our own hands. They need to be looking at black people in authoritative positions, black people who have the answers, black people who are thought-provoking, black people that encourage them and affirm them, and not send them to the devil all damn day and expect for them to come back and be African-centered, because that's just not going to happen. That's just going against the grain, and it's just, you know, it's just not. And the most important thing we have to teach our children, our young males in particular, in terms of them being revolutionary, is to honor their mother, the black woman. Because if they don't honor their mother, they will not honor any other black woman. And if their mother is trifling, then they need to be exposed to a black woman that's quality, be it a grandmother, an auntie. And if the male is not with the woman and he has custody or whatever, and the mom is trifling or whatever, then it's his responsibility to find quality women and making sure that the child, the young male has access to her and sees her interacting with men in a healthy way. That way he'll see how it's supposed to look. So that's what I wanted to contribute to tonight's dialogue.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have anything to add to that, Brother O?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. Everything you just said is beautiful. I just wanted to add something to what you said, and that basically is that the point about having sons contributing to to things around the household. I think that's fine and dandy. In order to give them those essential skills to to be able to maneuver around finances and things like that as they get older. But I think when that's being done, one of the things that we have to look at, especially if this is a mother doing this on her own, is to not make it a man of the house thing.
Oh, you are so right. You are so right on that, brother.
He's 4 or 5 years old, or even 15. You're the man of the house. You got to pull your own weight. I think that a man has to earn the title of man. That's one of the problems we have right now. We have no. I don't want to say we have no rites of passage, but you have to really look for them. There's certain rites of passage programs in a lot of major black cities, but you have to look for them. So I think that, the term man of the house, a lot of sisters use the term loosely and not knowing what they're actually doing to their sons by using these terms or giving them a title that they have not earned.
It confuses the crap out of them, is what it does, and you're right on point, and that's why they use that terminology, brother, because that's not what I was alluding to. The man of the house, you can't be a man of the house unless you are, in fact, the man of that house. And if you are a boy not yet into manhood, then you can't claim that. When you're earning your way through life and contributing what you can, you're just practicing. He's just learning the skills that he needs when he gets married and has his wife. But he is in no way the man of that house. And that's totally dysfunctional when sisters are doing that. But they're doing that because patriarchy tells them that you need a man of the house. That's why they give a default to whatever the oldest male in the house is, even if his ass ain't producing nothing. They say, well, you're the man of the house. Even if he hadn't earned the title, because patriarchy dictates that you need a man in the house. So just give the title to whoever's available, whoever's there. Just give it to somebody so that way your house can be complete. What we have to understand as African people, we have to get back to the mother and understand that is not always the case, and there should be a rites of passage for our young men so that they can earn it, and really have that title so it means something.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Anything else to add, sister?
I just enjoyed the show. I love War on the Horizon. I love you, Sister Shabazz. I think it's powerful, the show. And I'm excited for the show that we're going to be doing on parenting, natural parenting, and childbirth and pregnancy and all of that. So just excited.
Thank you. And I was actually just about to bring that up, that Sister Freya will be coming on in November. And this actually worked out by accident. I didn't plan it this way, but we're doing a lot of shows on children coming up. The next program will be on money and finances, but this program and all through November is going to be on children. There's actually going to be a bonus program in November, so you should know that's important because I don't do more than 2 shows a month. So if I'm doing an extra one, it's definitely going to be what I think might be one of the most powerful shows that I do, probably one of my best contributions to War on the Horizon. And it was actually sparked by Brother Omawale a little bit. I know he don't know that, but he'll find out when we come to the show. But it's definitely, November's going to be big. It's going to be very powerful. And if you have children, you should definitely tune into all 3 shows. Sister Freya and I think, are going to go over everything from preconception to conception to breastfeeding, and sounds like maybe even a little bit of child rearing.
I say, that first year is we'll cover some of that. And I want to leave with listeners, if you're listening into the show today and you you're about African liberation, please liberate your child from the devil school system. Please disenroll your child and homeschool them, and connect with sisters and brothers in your community that are homeschooling. It is so critical that we get them out of the system.
Yes, ma'am.
Please consider that.
And what,
if you love your children, get them out of the school.
And what metropolitan area are you in?
I'm in the Dallas area, and we do have a bunch of homeschooling moms. I contribute to a homeschool. I don't have children, but I do contribute to the homeschooling network that we have here.
Okay, well, that sounds good. When it comes closer to November, when you come on the program, I'm going to make sure I put up all of your information on my blog so that people can contact you for any questions or information, especially if there's anybody in that area who may be able to hook up with you or even might need a doula or something like that.
That's power.
All right. Black Power.
Our family, Black Power.
Black Power, thank you for calling in.
Black Power.
All right. Gotta love it when the sisters call in. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think I have somebody calling in who wants to clear their name, but I'm really not trying to hear it, but we'll go on and give them a chance. My brother.
Nah, listen, ain't nothing to clear. I just wanted to add one more thing that I think is very critical. I don't mean to hog the airwaves or nothing like that. I know you got a lot of callers. I think it's imperative, too, dealing with the African way, we deal with a village. And when rearing boys, I think it's imperative that we surround them with a variety of positive warriors. For example, you have my son, and my son, he's not only exposed to my fatherhood, he's exposed to Omawali's method of fatherhood, Bomani's method of fatherhood, his uncle Irritated Genie, just different energies, different mannerisms. Like Omawali, for example, he's very calm, he's very detail-oriented, I believe I spoke about this at with the show that I was on, but there's an example that's in my mind where we was all at the dinner table celebrating my daughter's born day, and my son had snot coming down his nose, and here I go just talking and, just being a host. Wally grabbed my son, took him to the restroom, wiped his nose, because there's just I didn't even notice, to be honest. But so I say that to say, for example, Kojo Mayasa, he had his son over here spending time with our family. I'm a little bit more fiery than Kojo. So it's different things about all of us, because we got to deal with things from a holistic perspective. You know what I mean? So this way our sons, and our daughters, of course, but I'm a man, so I'm talking about the sons. So our sons can be well-rounded. There's certain things that they can extract from me, certain things that they can extract from Uncle Omawali, Uncle Bomani, Uncle Kojo, and this will help make them more well-rounded. I'm one of those men that don't know how to cook. Omawali knows how to cook. My son sees Omawali in the kitchen preparing sea moss. He's seen that with his own eyes, and we got to remember that it ain't what you tell your child, it's what your child sees. So I think that it was very important that I make that point. I'm sorry for talking twice, but I just wanted to express that. Remember, we are a village people. It takes a village. I am because we are because I am. You know what I mean? So we just have to expose our Watoto, which means children in Kiswahili, from a universal perspective. I talk, street. His uncle might be more articulate. So there's certain things that he can extract from everybody, and that's very important. That's all I wanted to add.
That's true. That reminds me of a book I was reading. I forget the name of it, but it was a book on African marriage and relationship kind of traditions. And the lady was saying, and I think it was the lady that wrote it. It's been a minute, but they were saying that, in an African village, everybody is a parent, and you're not expected to be everything to everybody. So, one parent might see, you might have one person you go to for this and another person you go to for that, and it's not a competition or anything like that. You just can draw from everybody.
Indeed.
Definitely.
100%.
But
absolutely.
Thank you for calling back in, brother. We appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Before you, I love you, bro. Before you.
He gangster. He called in and said, look, I don't care about clearing my name. Brother Bomani just going to have to deal with it. He gangster.
Man. You know what? I just want to say, the sister that called, before I forget, she's 100% correct. My son is still in the public school system, and it's not a day that goes by that I don't think about, getting them out of there. And, that's something, kind of like what Bomani said, building our own institutions and, molding our children's minds, to fight this cracker on every single level. My son is learning certain things, but I have to contend with the fact that along with that, they're trying to hypnotize them with integration, with this one world crap, but that's my job, like as of right now, I have to balance that out with the reality of the situation.
Definitely.
But I mean, ultimately, I think our ultimate goal should be to have our children out of those damn schools. Absolutely.
And y'all are working on that. You guys are building your own institution, and you are working towards that.
Absolutely. We have the Liberation School Enrichment Program. It's only one Saturday out of every month, but the impact that this is already having, I can't. I'm ready to see what we could do on the next level, because just one Saturday out of the month is so it does so much for the children that I could only imagine what 5 days a week could do.
Right.
Like you're talking about some serious nation builders. Before I forget, I'd also like to mention, because the sister brought up homeschool, there's a great resource center, I guess you could call it, called abibitumiCasa.com, ABIBITUMIKASA.com. I mean, it just has so many boards and threads where you could learn things and teach your babies also. They have language classes and certain things that you could learn and add to your arsenal of things, to teach the babies. There's also another homeschool site called Kokonan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's AKOKONAN homeschool.ning.com. That's ran by some sisters out of Indianapolis. I had the pleasure of meeting them, and it's a great site. I mean, there's a whole lot more, but those are the two that that come to mind right now, and that's very important. I mean, we can learn things from these devils, but it's just way more important that it just means more to a child when the person that's teaching them looks like them. It really does. Exactly.
And the Bibi Tumi Casa, I believe it is, website is listed on messagetotheblackfam.com. I'm not sure if the other one is or not, but I will make sure that it gets put up there in case somebody needs it and doesn't have a pen or pencil. You said that's AKOKONAN homeschool.ning.com?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I'll make sure that gets up there too. So if you are missing that, just remember messagetotheblackfam.com. That's message number 2, the Black Fam, F-A-M, like family.com. And all of that will be there definitely for a resource. All right, let's see. All right, we have our brother on the line. You're live.
Hotel family, can you hear me clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
First of all, Lady Shabazz, I appreciate you for doing the program, as usual. Pertinent topic to our people. Brother Omar Wali, this is your brother Adiyama.
Peace, brother. What's going on?
Peace. I just wanted to call in, man, and say I appreciate you doing the program. It's always a pleasure to get the wisdom from the great ambassador. So, appreciate it.
Man, thank you, brother. Santi Sana.
Thank you.
Grateful. Thank you, sis.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, that's my little mystery brother there.
No problem.
I've never met him, so I'm trying to like find like a picture or something. Because to me, he's just an urban legend. I've never met him before, so I'm trying to figure out does he really exist.
No pictures. Nah, that's the stealth bomber right there. Yeah, I knew this brother for a while and didn't know I knew him. You know what I'm saying? That's how crazy it is, man. The brother practiced ninjutsu and all that. Yeah, good luck with that.
I know, right?
Word, thanks for calling in, brother.
Yes, sir. Now, I know that we were talking a little bit about rites of passage, and I think that that's definitely needed. And in your community, I think that that's definitely a great thing to do. I also think that we have to be careful. Like I said, in your community, I think that's great, but just in the mainstream, because sometimes it's used to spread, some maybe homosexuality, pedophilia, things like that. So you have to be very careful about that. But can you tell us a little bit about the rites of passage and how we might be able to adapt that to our own children safely?
You know what? Just to be totally honest with you, I only know of rites of passage through reading myself. But what I can honestly say is that the purpose of that is to basically give your sons and daughters have them to basically go into adulthood or stages of your life with the proper accessories to be the best adult, teenager, elder, or whatever the case may be. The brother Quayle is actually developing one right now. Rites of passage program for our babies. But like I said, my knowledge on that is limited. But what I could basically say, excuse me, is that as far as like rites of passage is to do your for sisters and brothers, to do your research and especially depending on what community you're in, like you just said, we're dealing with predators and all of these things. It's good to be as thorough as possible in our research. Make sure it's African centered. And one thing about the African centered community is that it's a small one, and somebody knows somebody, and all you got to really do is ask around. Make sure that the person that you're dealing with is on it, is 100%. As a matter of fact, you bringing up the predators and stuff. I make sure I got to say something about that before the time is up. One of the things, especially dealing with mothers raising sons, intuition. I like to talk about a woman's intuition. I think that we living in a time where sometimes sisters are not using their intuition to assess how their children are doing. It comes from not being around them a lot because you're working or whatever might be happening. We have to pay attention to our children. And when we're being intuitive, sometimes we don't want to embrace the fact that something is wrong with our child, that something is happening to them. And we have to really be honest with ourselves. And I think one of the things we can do to even circumvent that is to put ourselves in situations where our children could feel that they could speak to us and trust that they won't be yelled at or judged about certain things. And one of the things I think we can do is to eat together. It sounds very simple, but a lot of us don't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be every day, but we should have something where, as a family, we sit down together and, along with eating together, hey, how was your day? Anything interesting happened today, and just build that rapport with your child, so that when something bad happens, they won't feel funny about coming to you.
Right.
I'll tell you this story real quick. My son, I remember watching the Super Bowl one year, and I saw this commercial where two crackers was working on a car, and they was eating a Snicker bar from one end to the other, and they ate it until they kissed each other. And then they rose up like tough guys, and they wiped their mouth like, oh, whoa, what just happened? And I remember sitting there like, yo, what the hell did I just say? My son came over the following week. This was a week later. Now, my son was about 5 years old at the time. And I'm like, hey, what's up? We just talking. And he cut me off. He said, Dad, I saw something I didn't like. I said, what? What you talking about? And my son described the same commercial to me.
Wow.
And I always like to think ahead and, tell him certain things before he has to deal with it. That's another thing we have to do, is not just be like, oh, you're a teenager now. Sex, cell phones, internet. You got to let your children know these things before they deal with it.
Right.
But I can honestly say that he beat me to the chase. And he was like, yeah, I've seen these two dudes kissing. I didn't like how it looked. And I had to sit him down and explain homosexuality to him and why it's not acceptable at 5 years old. But he came to me with that.
Yes, sir.
So you got to have those lines of communications open at all times.
I definitely agree. That's something major and something that back in the day, we felt like we didn't really have to talk about sex too much with our children, but we do. I mean, now it's a war being waged, and we really, really do. It's not something that can be ignored unless we want our children to, walk around calling themselves Peaches or Delicious or something like that. It's something that we have to address. And even when I was talking to you before, when I said, like with my nephews, I had to go through and look at their cell phones, because they fathers tolerate a lot. I don't. You can't have these pictures of naked girls on here. This is considered kiddie porn. This can get you locked up, whether you're over 18, under 18. You have somebody in your class who thinks it's cute to text you these pictures, but if you get caught, you getting suspended, and you could go to jail. They're trying to set black men up any way they can. So you don't need to be talking to somebody, even if they're in your class. If they're more than a year younger than you, you ain't gonna be talking to them. Just simple things. Pull your pants up. Things like that. It's very, very simple things, but it's just things that we're missing.
Absolutely, it's the simple things that the best example I could describe that is probably the breakdown of my relationship between my ex-wife and myself, and that breakdown happened because of the small things, not the things that everybody saw, but it was the small things that broke it down. And if you apply that to basically anything, you will notice that it's usually those things we overlook that ultimately do us in. So absolutely, you're 100% correct.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, were you saying something else?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I sound like I was talking over you. Well, I definitely want to thank you for coming on the program. I've been wanting to have you for a while, so it was definitely a pleasure. Anytime you need something, feel free to call, text, Skype, Facebook, whatever. You are definitely part of the family. And just thank you for all of your information and all of the effort that you put into this program. I really do appreciate it.
Santi Sis, thank you. Before I get off the program, I just want to give a shout out to the brother Tashago, Baba Baruti, my Mayasa brothers and sister, my Liberation School family, everybody that helped me, prepare for the show. And also United Front, Black Power Manhood Rap out right now. We got some other stuff coming down the pipe. I got to do the shameless plug real quick.
Oh, definitely.
That's about it. Oh, I cannot forget this. Whatever you do, be careful with how you use your words. And there are times when we want to, where children want things or they need things and you can't do it. But understand, we're articulate enough to find ways to tell children, without lying for them, to tell children that we can't do something for them without using the word can't. The word can't is a very detrimental word in our vocabulary when we're trying to raise people that will have the mindset that they're going to be winners. I would rather use the word no than I can't.
Right.
when I'm speaking to my son. You know, I could get something. I could be able to get something for my son, but tell him no because of something that he was told to do something he didn't do. But to say that I can't, that reflects on me as a man and him looking up to me. Even if I can't, you know, you just have to find a way to say it differently because that also affects their psyche.
Right.
And I just wanted to, make sure I mention that also.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you again. It was a pleasure, and I will definitely probably be asking you to come back maybe in the next year and talk about some more stuff because it's really enjoyable and I love the information.
Oh man, thank you, sis. Anytime, you know, I extend the same courtesy to you. You need, you know, you and your husband need anything, you know, you can just holler at any one of us and we'll get it to you ASAP.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, peace. Thank you so much, and I will be talking to you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
All right. So we have gotten in our dose of manhood. Stay tuned because next we have the cipher coming up. They're actually going to be reversing it and talking about judging us by the judging our race or measuring our race by the character of our women. Part 2, so definitely stay on the line for that. We're going to go on and switch the shows in just a moment. I do just want to say 2 weeks will be the next program. We're going to be going over money matters, racism and taxation, doing for self, all that good stuff. So you definitely want to tune in for that program. And as I said, even after that, November is going to be a very, very powerful month on the Message to the Black Fam show. Do not miss it and stay on the line. We're going to be coming on with the cipher in just a moment. And we're going to take you out with a little bit of that Black Power Manhood rap. Hope that you paid attention today, because if not, this song is going to mean a lot to you in a couple of years. Let's hope not. Peace.
Black to the faggots ain't no faggot. If a man won't protect his own behind, he will do nothing for our race. If a sister will not come out of that behavior, if a sister doesn't want out of that behavior, and if she goes to bed at night lusting after a female, she can't build no nation. You're wasting your, my, and our race's black time. Leave them alone. It's the one. Brothers and sisters, you gotta stand up. Death to white supremacy. Fight this homosexual assault on our children, yo. Death to this faggot shit, too. Let's go. Somebody spikes your lemonade. You dealing with a renegade. I'm thinking about getting free and thinking about getting paid. The time to make
Your
a change.
conference recording
You
has
still a
stopped.
slave and misbehave like the same beast who came out the cave. No matter how you word it, homosexual perversion. That ain't African and that's a fact, of that I'm certain. Your rappers is fruity, smelling like booty. Faggots wear skinny jeans, don't matter if it's Gucci. Smoke you like a Lucy just for thinking you can do me. You messing with Louis, yo faggot, I like you. You think you got swag, but I think you a fag. Lil Wayne look like a dyke. Rappers dressing in drag. Should be rapping at the gay parade. Mohawk with funny shades. Fruity dudes looking sick. Somebody gave this limit AIDS. This ain't gay bashing, this murder. Straight caskets. Nickel plated magnum. I see you, I'm straight blasting. Face gashes, razor, straight slashing. Gasoline lighter, fire, straight ashes. Running straight past him. You hear me? I'm straight faggot. And I don't date faggots. You